How's it going, everybody? This is the Smooth Admin, and today I'd like to talk to you about Salesforce Renewals. So, as a Salesforce administrator, you may or may not have any involvement in negotiating the contract for your Salesforce products that you have. But I would argue that if you have any aspirations to be in management, it's a great idea to learn about your company's budgeting process, and an easy way to do that, one that's laid right at your feet, is to get involved in renewing your contracts with Salesforce. So Salesforce obviously is a SaaS product. You have an agreement with Salesforce via contract to purchase services for X amount of time, and when those services come up for renewal, you need to go through this process of renewing the contract. So, like I mentioned, I think it's a great growth opportunity for a Salesforce administrator. So, some things I would want to know as someone that wants to learn about this is, when does your company's budgeting cycle start? Who has to approve it? Things like that. Is this going to be expensed, or is this going to be capitalized? And if you're not familiar with those accounting terms, maybe talk to someone in finance about that and learn about how SaaS products are addressed on your balance sheet at your company. Find out how the approval process works. Does someone in procurement need to get involved? Do they negotiate all the SaaS products at your company? Does the process require C-level approval? Who are all the stakeholders? Does the vice president of sales get the final say? Is there a sales operations person that gets involved? Does the IT CIO need to be the one that approves it? So depending on the size of your company and all the roles that you have, there might be a lot of stakeholders involved, or it might be one person making all the decisions in a smaller company. So after you learn about the budgeting process, look at your current contract. And this is one thing that's really cool as a Salesforce administrator, because you have this right at your fingertips via the managed subscription functionality on Salesforce. So you could see right there how much you're paying per license and how long you're contracted for. It's really cool to have visibility to that, and it gives you a sense of the amount that you're investing in Salesforce. And then if you can get involved in renewing the contract, some of the things you might want to consider is how many years you want to renew for. Are there any price increases that they're implementing at this point? And are there any discounts that might help you avoid those price increases? Like if you renew for more than 1 year, or if you add more licenses, things like that. And overall, what is the strategic vision for your company? I'm sure as Salesforce administrators, we love the platform, and it's pretty likely that you're going to want to renew. But it is important to look at the IT roadmap and make sure that the software that you're purchasing matches up with the goals of your company. So that is a definite serious consideration. So those are the things I would look at. As I mentioned, you can use the managed subscription functionality to check out what you're paying. So if you click the setup menu button and then click the little shopping cart here, managed subscription, it brings up this page which shows you your quotes, your contracts, your orders, the products you have, your invoices. It's actually a little overwhelming because there's so many records involved in your subscription. But I would say, the key ones are the quotes, the contracts, and the orders, because these really give you an at-a-glance view as far as what your business is with Salesforce at this time. So, as an example, I have a quote here for a renewal. So, this is what you would get when the renewal manager from Salesforce contacts you and says, "Hey, it's time to renew your product." You can see who the order form was prepared for, how long the quote is valid for. So after this date, this quote would expire and it would no longer be valid. Who at Salesforce proposed the quote, what the quote number is, your billing and shipping information, the billing contact information, and here's the T's and C's. So this would show your proposed contract start and end date. So this here would be a 2-year agreement, how you're paying, what the terms are, and what your billing frequency is. So in this case, like even if we ordered for 2 years, we would have to pay for half of it in year 1 and the other half in year 2, because they bill annually. So, and this is probably the best part about looking at the quote, because you can see what you're paying for, broken down in somewhat of a line level view. So you can see here we have Pardot, but we also have Sales Cloud. So if you don't know Pardot is email marketing software that is a separate product that you can buy from Salesforce, and that has flat pricing, meaning like you're not paying per license, you pay instead by like the number of contacts that you have in Pardot, or contacts are leads, really. They call them prospects in Pardot, I believe. And then, which you're probably more familiar with, which is Sales Cloud licenses. So you can see here that you might not always pay the same amount per license for the seats that you have. So if you've negotiated different pricing for additional seats, you would see that reflected in different line levels on here. So you can see obviously I have the pricing blacked out on here, but for this price times this many seats, we pay this total price. For this price times this many seats, we pay this price, and so on down the line until you get to the total for the whole quote. And that is the main things on the quote. There is other basically disclaimers and terms and conditions on there that you can read through to make sure you agree with them, but it's pretty much standard commitment that you would make to them. And once you are satisfied with the quote, you can let the renewal manager or your account manager, depending on who you're working with, know that you're okay with it, and then you have to let them know who you want to approve the quote at your company. So even if you're, let's say, negotiating it, like I negotiate the contract for our company, but it's actually the vice president of sales that's going to sign off on this. So I tell the renewal manager, okay, I agree to this, and you can see this one even has the draft watermark all over it because it wasn't officially signed yet. It was just a draft that we were working on. But you can tell them, okay, I agree to this, and I've got approval from my manager that we are ready to move forward with this, and then they can use DocuSign to route the form to your manager or whoever it is that's going to approve the contract at your company for approval. And that makes it pretty seamless and easy. And that's it. Like once the contract is set, you're done, and you don't have to worry about it until the next renewal period. So in summary, these are the reasons why I think it's good to get involved in your quoting process at your company, and I would recommend it. If you like this video, please give me a like, and I would love to hear any questions you have in the comments section or comments on the video, and hope you found it helpful. Thank you.